Hello friends, welcome again to my channel Knowledge is All. For more videos, please like and subscribe my channel. Let's start the video with General Knowledge Part 6. What are the Camel, the Mangoose, Kaboom and Aluminium that has been in news recently? A. Cricket bats, B. Military coats, C. Quadrants, D. Chess moves. And the answer is A. Cricket bats. These terms were mentioned in the news recently to indicate the cricket bat used. The camel bat was recently used by Afghanistan's Rashid Khan. Mongoose, Kaboom, and Aluminium are some of the other names used to describe different cricket bats. Which famous international tennis tournament is held in the month of January every year? A. US Open, B. Australian Open, C. French Open, D. Wimbledon. And the answer is B. Australian Open. The Australian Open tournament is the first of the four Grand Slam tennis tournaments held every year before the French Open, Wimbledon, and the US Open events. And also, it is organized by Tennis Australia and generally held during the last fortnight of every January. The cricket team of which country was recently presented with the ICC Women's Championship Trophy? A. England, B. South Africa, D. Australia, D. New Zealand. And the answer is C. Australia. Joshna Chinnappa and Saurav Ghoshal are associated with which sports? A. Badminton, B. Squash, C. Tennis, D. Table tennis. And the answer is B. Squash. The Squash Rackets Federation of India SRFI 77th Senior National Squash Championships was recently held at Chennai, Tamil Nadu. The World Athletics Council imposed a USD 10 million fine on the Athletics Federation of which country for doping scandals? A. China, B. Russia, C. USA, D. Australia. And the answer is B. Russia. Which badminton player won the men's single title at the All England Open Badminton Championship 2020? A. P. Kashyap, B. K. Srikanth, C. Victor Lexon, D. Lingdan. And the answer is C. Victor Axelsen. Who was named the leading men's cricketer of the year by 2020 Wisden Cricketers Almanack? A. Virat Kohli, B. Ben Stokes, C. Zofra Archer, D. Pat Cummins. And the answer is B. Ben Stokes. Fifi, which was recently seen in news, is the mascot release for which famous sports event? A. Summer Olympics, B. Asian Games, C. Asian Paralympic Games, D. World Games. And the answer is C. Asian Paralympics Game. Who is the first Indian to win the Fed Cup Heart Award for the Asia-Oceania zone? A. Linder Pace, B. Sania Mirza, C. Rohan Bopanna, D. Prajnesh Guneswaran. And the answer is B. Sania Mirza. The tennis star Sania Mirza became the first Indian to win the Fed Cup Hut Award for Asia Oceania Zone, who has been reappointed as the ethics officer and ombudsman of the Board of Control for Cricket in India (BCCI). A. D.K. Jain, B. Saurav Ganguly, C. Jay Shah, D. W.V. Raman. And the answer is A. D.K. Jain. Sarath Kamal and G. Sathiyan duo, who were making news recently, is associated with which sports? A. Tennis, B. Badminton, C. Table tennis, D. Squash. And the answer is C. Table tennis. Tour de France event, which has been postponed due to COVID-19 outbreak, is related to which sports? A. Tennis, B. Marathon, C. Cycling, D. Golf. And the answer is C. Cycling. Which Indian cricketer is selected for the C.K. Naidu Lifetime Achievement Award of BCCI? A. Kapil Dev, B. Sri Kannath, C. Sunil Gavaskar, D. Dilip Vengasarkar. And the answer is B. K. Sri Kannath. Which famous international tennis tournament is held in the month of January every year? A. US Open, B. Australian Open, C. French Open, D. Wimbledon. And the answer is A. Australian Open. Deepak Kumar, who won the silver medal at the Strategia Memorial Tournament in Bulgaria, is associated with which sports? A. Weightlifting, B. Boxing, C. Wrestling, D. Badminton. And the answer is B. Boxing. Which Indian wrestler won the gold medal at the Ukrainian Wrestlers and Coaches Memorial Tournament? A. Vinesh Phogat, B. Bajrang Punia, C. Babita Kumari, D. Geeta Phogat. And the answer is A. Vinesh Phogat. 22-year-old Lee Zizia, who clinched the All England Open Badminton Championship, is from which country? A. Japan, B. South Korea, C. Malaysia, D. Thailand. And the answer is C. Malaysia. The Khelo India Centre of Excellence in Rowing has been inaugurated in which state or union territory? A. Himachal Pradesh, B. Jammu and Kashmir, C. Uttarakhand, D. Karnataka. And the answer is B. Jammu and Kashmir. The Union Sports Minister Kiren Rijiju inaugurated the Khelo India Centre of Excellence in Rowing in Srinagar. The training center is situated in Dal Lake and comes under the Jammu and Kashmir Sports Council. Phil Mickelson became the oldest sportsperson to win a major championship in which sports? A. Tennis, B. Golf, C. Squash, D. Table tennis. And the answer is B. Golf. Tannu and Priya, who won World Championships recently, are associated with which sports? A. Weightlifting, B. Wrestling, C. Archery, D. Track and field events. And the answer is wrestling. Praras Khadka, a sportsperson who retired recently, was associated with which sports? A. Hockey, B. Cricket, C. Kabaddi, D. Table tennis. And the answer is B. Cricket. Which country has topped the medals tally in Tokyo 2020 Olympics? A. China, B. Japan, C. USA, D. Germany. And the answer is C. USA. Manusha and Rit Risha, who were seen in the news, are associated with which sports? A. Tennis, B. Table tennis, C. Archery, D. Shooting. And the answer is B. Table tennis. Ramkumar Ramanathan, who recently won his Maidan Challenger level singles title, is associated with which sports? A. Tennis, B. Table tennis, C. Badminton, and D. Archery. And the correct answer is A. Tennis. The Indian tennis player Ramkumar Ramanathan won his Maidan Challengers level singles title in the final class of the ATP80 Manama event. Who is the first Indian to win an Indian Open men's singles title on debut? A. K. Srikanth, B. Lakshya Sen, C. P. Kashyap, D. Sai Praneeth. And the answer is B. Lakshya Sen. Which country played host to the AFC Women's Asian Cup 2022? A. Japan, B. Australia, C. China, D. India. And the correct answer is D. India. Who is the only contestant from India in the Beijing Winter Olympics 2022? A. Arif Khan, B. Neeraj Chopra, C. Siva Keshavan, D. Jagdish Singh. And the answer is A. Arif Khan. Which city is the host of the Senior National Chess Championship 2022? A. Mumbai, B. Kanpur, C. Chennai, D. Panaji. And the answer is B. Kanpur. As per a recent report, what was the contribution of YouTube creator system to the Indian GDP in 2020? A. Rupees 1700 crore, B. Rupees 3400 crore, C. Rupees 6800 crore, and D. Rupees 8500 crore. And the answer is C. Rupees 6800 crore. As per a news report by independent consulting firm Oxford Economics, YouTube's creator ecosystem contributed rupees 6,800 crore to the Indian GDP. Which is the venue of the 2022 ICC Women's Cricket World Cup? A. India, B. New Zealand, C. Australia, D. South Africa. And the answer is B. New Zealand. BCCI has signed which Indian product as official partner for Indian Premier League IPL 2022 and 2023? A. PhonePe, B. Paytm, C. RuPay, D. Policy Bazaar. And the answer is C. RuPay. Which Indian cricketer has been presented the prestigious Sports Icon Award? A. Suresh Raina, B. MS Dhoni, C. Sachin Tendulkar, D. Virat Kohli. And the answer is A. Suresh Raina. Ankita Raina, Rutuja Bhosale, Riya Bhatia, and Sozanya Vaviseti are associated with which sports? A. Squash, B. Tennis, C. Table tennis, D. Hockey. And the answer is B. Tennis. Which Indian chess player won the La Roda International Open Chess Tournament? A. R. Pragananda, B. D. Gukesh, C. Indian, D. Koneru Hampi. And the answer is B. D. Gukesh. Young Indian Grandmaster D Gukesh clinched victory in the 48th La Roda International Open Chess Tournament, scoring 8 points from 9 rounds. Harshada Sarath Garud is associated with which sports? A. Boxing, B. Weightlifting, C. Squash, D. Hockey. And the answer is B. Weightlifting. Shreya Singla, who won a gold medal for India at the 24th Deaflympics, plays which sports? A. Shooting, B. Tennis, C. Badminton, D. Table tennis. And the answer is C. Badminton. Which racing driver won the Monaco Grand Prix title? A. Max Verstappen, B. Sergio Perez, C. Charles Leclerc, D. Lewis Hamilton. And the answer is B. Sergio Perez. Which racing driver won the Austrian Grand Prix 2022 title? A. Charles Leclerc, B. Mark Verstappen, C. Lewis Hamilton, D. Sebastian Vettel. And the answer is A. Charles Leclerc. Who among the following is the first Indian to score a century in Indian Premier League (IPL)? A. Gautam Gambhir, B. Manish Pandey, C. Sachin, D. Rahul Dravid. And the answer is B. Manish Pandey. In which year was the Olympic symbol designed? A. 1915, B. 1912, C. 1920, and D. 1924. And the answer is B. 1912. In addition to the Olympic symbol of 5 rings on a white field was designed by Pierre de Coubertin in 1912. The rings represented the 5 continents. Which Indian singer performed at the closing ceremony of the 2018 Asian Games? A. Anu Malik, B. Shan, C. Sidharth Slathia, D. Arijit Singh. And the answer is C. Sidharth Slathia. In addition to the local singers Super Junior, Ikon and Indian singer Sidharth Slathia performed at the closing ceremony of the 2018 Asian Games. Where was the inaugural event of the IAAF World Cross Country Championship held? A. Belgium, B. Italy, C. Morocco, D. UK. And the answer is A. Belgium. Which player has scored the fastest? A. Belgium. A. Belgium. Which player has scored the fastest double century in ODIs? A. Virendra Sehwag, B. Sachin Tendulkar, C. Chris Gayle, D. Fakhar Zaman. And the answer is C. Chris Gayle. When was cricket introduced as an Olympic sport? A. 1877, B. 1898, C. 1900, D. 1908. And the answer is C. 1900. Cricket was first played at international level in 1844 and the first test match took place in 1877 and later it was included as an Olympic sport at the 1900 Paris Games where Great Britain defeated France to win the gold medal. Which was the main venue of the 2018 Gold Coast Commonwealth Games? A. Metricon Stadium, B. Carrara Stadium, C. Cubis Super Stadium, D. Robina Stadium. And the answer is B. Carrara Stadium. Which country is going to host FIFA World Cup 2022? A. Qatar, B. France, C. Italy, D. Argentina. And the answer is A. Qatar. The 22nd edition of the FIFA World Cup is scheduled to take place in Qatar in 2022. This will be the first World Cup to be hosted in an Arab country. Who had staged the torch relay for the 1938 film Olympia? A. Vestal Virgins, B. Leni Riefenstahl, C. Joseph Goebbels, D. Carl Dem. And the answer is B. Leni Riefenstahl. When were the first finals for UEFA held? A. 1958, B. 1950, A. 1954, B. 1958, C. 1960, D. 1961. And the answer is C. 1960. When was the preamble to the Laws of Cricket first published? A. 1994, B. 1998, C. 2000, D. 2002. And the answer is C. 2000. Which country tops the all-time medal table in the Commonwealth Games? A. India, B. England, C. Australia, D. Canada. And the answer is C. Australia. For more videos, please subscribe my channel and hit the like button. Thank you for watching.